When we started, we identified some of the most important problems that the registration platforms had at that time. Some of them are, and according to what users, clients, market participants, or participants, for example, in market supervision, mentioned to us, the records that existed at that time had a way of creating manuals and publishing them on a website, but it was not really recognized if they were doing traceability and if they were really doing effective accounting of carbon credits. It was not identified if they had the necessary security for access and to ensure the information confidentiality, availability, and quality of that information that supports each of the credits. There was also no traceability of the credit's origin from a project, the activities carried out to generate it, and how that traceability is provided to identify the final beneficiary, who is the actual user of the carbon credit. We also identified complex processes in the account opening and project registration processes on the platform that represented significant barriers, especially for communities that needed to fill out all this information in English. This motivated us at Eco-Registry to generate a platform that aimed to streamline carbon markets through the creation of opportunities for projects and the establishment of trust for buyers, enabling them to recognize all the information that supports each carbon credit and make informed decisions. And we wanted to do that in a simple, reliable way, generating that information integrity so that buyers could have that confidence and with the necessary simplicity so that project owners and project representatives could enter all the information into the platform and demonstrate how they achieve those carbon credits. Finally, something very important for us, which is connectivity, and all those connections at a national and international level with other platforms to be able to make statistics of the information, to be able to trace all the information and what is happening with all the mitigation and emissions reduction projects. We have reached the point where I want to tell you about the process of generating a carbon credit and how a person, a community, a company that has an idea, a project on how to reduce greenhouse gases or how to capture greenhouse gases can formulate that project and ultimately receive carbon credits. First, formulated according to a standard encompassing methodologies. In the formulation process, justify something called additionality, accounting for how the project leverages carbon credits to exist. Also, the baseline that accounts for how year by year we are going to reduce those greenhouse gases. Once formulated, the project undergoes a public consultation phase where any individual, business, or community can provide comments on the project, which will be taken into account and considered during the validation process. We have arrived at the stage where I would like to inform you about the process of generating a carbon credit and how an individual, a community, or a company with an idea or a project on how to reduce greenhouse gases or how to capture greenhouse gases can formulate that project and ultimately govern the issuance and management of carbon credits. The initial step is to formulate it per a standard, which includes methodologies. And in the formulation process, we will justify something we will call additionality, which considers how the project leverages carbon credits to exist. Also, the baseline that accounts for how year by year we are going to reduce those greenhouse gases. After formulation, the project undergoes a public consultation phase where any individual, organization, or community can provide comments on the project. These comments will be considered during the validation process. Once the validation is finished, the project will commence the implementation and monitoring process, reporting and verification, where we will quantify and identify each of the activities that will guide us towards achieving emissions reduction. We'll quantify the reductions with measurement systems we'll supervise to reach the final calculation of the reduced C2 tons following a specific methodology. That information and that calculation will be reviewed in the verification process, where the verification body will enter the platform to identify all the documentation that supports that calculation and will review that everything is in accordance with the methodology. Finally, when the verification is signed, we can move on to the certification and generation process of carbon credits. It is at this moment that the certification company, which has been reviewing the project in its previous stages and accompanying the validation and verification bodies in their processes, will finally review that the program, the standard, and the specific methodologies have been complied with in order to generate carbon credits. It is at that specific moment when the certifier enters the platform and generates the carbon credits, and the co-registry platform up until that point behaves as an information repository that will provide support for each of the carbon credits that will be generated. At that moment, the platform undergoes a slight transformation, and each of the numerous tons of CO2 is sent to an account that we can envision as similar to a savings account in a bank, but we will possess an account within eco-registry. The owner of the project, the representative of that project, will receive those credits in their account and will be able to allocate those credits to whatever they want.